William Shakespeare, often called the greatest writer in the English language. His life was filled with creativity, passion, and influence, leaving a legacy that continues to shape literature and drama to this day. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, a bustling market town in Warwickshire, England. His father, John Shakespeare, was a successful glovemaker and a prominent figure in the local community. John also held various civic positions, including alderman and bailiff, which were similar to being the mayor. William's mother, Mary Arden, came from a well-to-do farming family. Together, they lived in a comfortable home on Henley Street, where young William would grow up. William was the third of 8 children in the Shakespeare family, but not all his siblings survived infancy, which was common in those days. Although there are no detailed records of his early education, it is widely believed that Shakespeare attended the King's New School in Stratford. The school provided a good education, focusing on Latin, rhetoric, literature, and the works of classical authors like Ovid and Seneca. This classical education would later deeply influence Shakespeare's writing. At the age of 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was 26 at the time. The couple married on November 28, 1582. And was from Shottery, a small village a mile or so west of Stratford. Their marriage happened quite quickly, as Anne was already 3 months pregnant when they tied the knot. Their first child, Susanna, was born 6 months later in May 1583. 2 years after Susanna's birth, Anne and William had twins, a boy named Hamnet and a girl named Judith. The birth of the twins occurred in 1585. Sadly, Hamnet died at the age of 11, in 1596, leaving a deep impact on Shakespeare. The early death of his son may have influenced the somber tone of many of his later works. After the birth of the twins, Shakespeare's life becomes somewhat of a mystery. The years between 1585 and 1592 are often referred to as Shakespeare's lost years, because there is little historical documentation about his activities during this period. Some theories suggest he might have worked as a schoolteacher, a lawyer, or even in the theater as an actor or stagehand, but none of these claims can be definitively proven. It wasn't until 1592 that Shakespeare reappeared in London as a playwright and actor. During this time, the London theatre scene was vibrant and growing, and Shakespeare quickly became involved. By 1592, Shakespeare was making a name for himself in London. He became a part of a prominent acting troupe called the Lord Chamberlain's Men, later known as the King's Men. Shakespeare wrote plays for this company, acted in some of them, and soon gained recognition as a talented playwright. His early works, such as The Comedy of Errors, Titus Andronicus, and The Taming of the Shrew, were popular with audiences and established him as a significant figure in the world of theatre. In 1593, a severe outbreak of the plague caused the London theatres to close. During this time, Shakespeare turned to writing poetry. He wrote 2 long narrative poems, Venus and Adonis and The Rape of Lucrece, which were well received. He also began writing his famous sonnets, a collection of 154 poems that explore themes of love, beauty, time, and mortality. These sonnets are still widely read and admired today. By the late 1590s, Shakespeare had become a successful playwright. In 1599, he became a part owner of the Globe Theatre, a large open-air theatre on the south bank of the River Thames. The Globe quickly became one of the most famous theatres in London, and many of Shakespeare's most famous plays were performed there. During this time, Shakespeare wrote some of his greatest comedies, including Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, and Twelfth Night. These plays are known for their clever wordplay, complex characters, and exploration of human nature. He also wrote several of his greatest tragedies, including Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. These plays delve into the darker aspects of human nature, exploring themes of power, jealousy, betrayal, and madness. Hamlet, in particular, is often regarded as one of the greatest works of literature ever written. As he grew older, Shakespeare began to write fewer plays and focused more on his family and business interests. By 1611, Shakespeare had returned to Stratford-upon-Avon, where he purchased a large house called New Place. Although he continued to write, his output decreased, and he spent more time managing his investments and properties. During this period, Shakespeare wrote his final plays, including The Tempest, Cymbeline, and The Winter's Tale. These plays are often referred to as his late romances, because they contain elements of both tragedy and comedy and often explore themes of redemption and reconciliation. In 1613, the Globe Theatre burned down during a performance of Shakespeare's play, Henry VIII. The fire marked the end of an era in Shakespeare's life, and he officially retired from the theatre shortly afterward. William Shakespeare died on April 23, 1616, at the age of 52. He was buried in the chancel of Holy Trinity Church in Stratford-upon-Avon, where his grave can still be visited today. His gravestone bears an epitaph that Shakespeare is believed to have written himself, which warns against moving his bones. Shakespeare's death marked the end of a remarkable career, but his legacy was just beginning. 7 years after his death, in 1623, two of Shakespeare's fellow actors, John Hemmings and Henry Condell, published a collection of his works known as the First Folio. This book contained 36 of Shakespeare's plays, many of which might have been lost if not for their efforts. Shakespeare's influence on the English language and literature is immeasurable. His plays have been translated into every major language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. His works continue to be studied in schools and universities around the world, and his characters and stories remain as relevant and relatable today as they were over 400 years ago. Shakespeare's ability to capture the full range of human emotions and experiences, from the heights of comedy to the depths of tragedy, has made his work timeless. His plays explore universal themes such as love, power, jealousy, betrayal, and the complexities of the human condition, ensuring that they will continue to resonate with audiences for generations to come. One of the most remarkable aspects of Shakespeare's work is his use of the English language. He had an extraordinary ability to play with words, creating new phrases and expressions that are still used today. Many common English phrases, such as break the ice, wild goose chase, heart of gold, and in a pickle, were first used by Shakespeare in his plays. Shakespeare also had a significant impact on the development of the English language itself. He invented or popularized hundreds of words, many of which are still in use today. Words like bedroom, fashionable, alligator, and lonely were either coined by Shakespeare or first appeared in his writings. His influence extended beyond the English-speaking world. Shakespeare's works have been translated into over 100 languages, and his plays are performed and studied all over the globe. His ability to convey complex human emotions and situations transcends cultural and linguistic barriers, making his work accessible to people from all walks of life. Shakespeare's impact on theater and drama is also profound. He revolutionized the way stories were told on stage, blending genres and experimenting with structure and form. Before Shakespeare, plays were often rigidly divided into either comedy or tragedy. Shakespeare blurred these lines, creating plays that could evoke laughter and tears in the same breath. He also created some of the most memorable characters in literary history. Characters like Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and Juliet are not just archetypes, they are complex, multidimensional individuals who reflect the full range of human emotions and experiences. Shakespeare's characters are often flawed, which makes them relatable and real to audiences. Shakespeare's plays also tackled controversial and difficult subjects, such as racism in Othello, the nature of power in Macbeth, and the complexities of love in Romeo and Juliet. By addressing these themes, Shakespeare's work challenged audiences to think deeply about society and the human condition. William Shakespeare's legacy is vast and enduring. His works have inspired countless writers, poets, and artists over the centuries. His influence can be seen in the works of writers like Charles Dickens, James Joyce, and T.S. Eliot, as well as in modern literature, film, and theater. Shakespeare's plays continue to be adapted into films, television shows, and even musicals. His work has been interpreted and reinterpreted in countless ways, from traditional stage productions to modern retellings set in different times and places. The universality of his themes and the richness of his language ensure that Shakespeare's work remains relevant in the modern world. Thank you for watching our video on William Shakespeare. If you enjoyed learning about his life and legacy, please like this video and subscribe to our channel History Book for more fascinating stories from history.